fucking mother.
You ready for this?
What is going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. We are for the good reels, so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. The Brett Man's right over there, and you are probably wondering who this SOB is right underneath us because it's been a long, long time. But he is back. He is with us again. It is Filthy Dan, the man himself. You guys have probably seen him before if you've been following us for some time, but he is back again tonight for a very special, awesome Slash It Out. We're doing X versus Pearl, 2022 flicks coming out from Ty West, both in the same freaking universe with the same character and all kinds of fun stuff going on. So we're going to have a lot of fun topics to talk about tonight. But first off, man, Dan, how's it going? Tell the people who you are if they haven't seen you and where to find you.
All right. So first of all, thank you for having me on, gentlemen. And thank you for that awesome introduction, by the way. That was freaking amazing. But for those of you who don't know, I'm Filthy Dan over at the Department of Fear, formerly the Film Discussion. Basically just taking a nerdy look into horror films usually. Took a bit of a break for about 9 months there, so that's why you probably haven't heard of me if you're new to the Good Real Hunting guys, and which in that sense you guys are new to me. But you guys can find me at Department of Fear. I'm sure if you type in Filthy Dan's Film Discussion, that will still come up there, but one of these smaller channels in this circle that these fine gentlemen are a part of. Yeah, that's really about it. I'm not going to oversell myself too much here.
Oh man, and as first off, I am kind of a little bit pissed off here because we are normally for Slash It Out we're red. All of a sudden we're freaking green. So thank you so much for adding your filthiness into our live stream.
Yes, that too. That is a beautiful touch. I sort of hacked the hardware, or would it be software? I hacked the software.
Filthy Dan, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Of course, his stuff's going to be down in that description below as well, so you can find him there quick and easy. Bert, man.
Yeah, and what you could do too is when you go in our description, you'll kind of like even the title of this video, you'll see the little @ symbol on Filthy Dan's channel. You just click on it, it'll take you right to his YouTube page.
Hell to the yeah, Birdie. How are you tonight? That is the main question. That's what we all want to know.
Yes.
Man, I am more happier than a turkey on Thanksgiving. That's how happy I am.
That sounds depressed.
Yeah,
but
so
I'm
just more for have Filthy Dan here. He's been an absolutely great supporter, more importantly, a great friend to our channel. And just when he just messaged us the other day, said, "Hey, we're about to do X versus Pearl. You should hang out in the chat." And he's like, "Dude, like I just got done watching Pearl and all of that, and I want to freaking like be a part of this." And you're like, "You know what, you son of a bitch, we'll give you a part of this." So we're just honored and privileged to have you on here, kind of like as like your return to YouTubing.
Yeah, and I can't thank you guys enough. I think this is a great way to sort of expand the call of my return. I mean, I have dropped a couple videos, but you know, when you disappear for so long, people tend to forget. So figure this is a really great way to get myself brought back to the public eye, the repalate myself to the people's taste. I'm not great with words this evening.
Well, we will work that out. It's awesome. It takes us back to the roots, man. To see you back working with you again. It's been a long time, but man, it's pretty epic, man. Hey, 12 people in the chat, man. If you guys don't care, hit that like button, man. All that fun stuff, man. It's quick, it's simple, and it helps us out big time. Much appreciated to you all. And I don't know what happened to Birdie, but he's I see Bert himself though.
It's a scary situation, man.
He phone Riobel. Oh, okay. Well, I guess he will probably come back. But let's say hi to the chat. Let's see who all's in here, man. We got some awesome people. We'll be getting started momentarily here as soon as Brettman comes back. But we got Lamontre in the house. What's up, my man? Adrian James, of course. How are you? Aaron Click. He said he's not sticking around long. He hadn't seen Pearl yet. We will be talking spoilers, of course, so be cautious for that for both movies. Both movies came out this year, so there will be spoilers being talked here tonight.
That is crazy to think, though, that just want to say that real fast. It's just great on Ty West and everyone involved that they were able to crank out 2 films that are connected in the same year. Like,
and do it so and do it so sneakily, man. You come out with this banger
yeah.
at X. Nobody even knew X was coming until like a month it came out. And then it does come out, and if everybody loves it, and then it's like, oh, by the way, there's another one coming out this year too. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really is. And sorry about that. I had for some reason my Bluetooth headphone or headset kind of died on me for some reason, so I had to switch to the old shitty pair. But I'm here. Brad, have you said hello to the chat?
Yeah, I was working on it. I can finish it out. Cole's in the house.
Yeah,
my
finish
friend,
it out
what is
there.
up? Let us know, Cole, if you saw X. I know you were talking about doing that. Rosie's in the house, Birdie. I know you got that rose over there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. There you go. There's your rose. We always give a rose to Rosie.
Miss Carter's here. I saw that she said that she's pumped up to see Dan the Man back, and Flamethrower Fluff is here as well. He's pumped up to see Filthy Dan the Man back himself. Antonis, our man, he is back and at it. He's rocking and rolling as well. And of course, Backtrack Cinema, which if you aren't aware is the J-Man. Started a new channel over there. He's rocking and rolling with that. So check that out. It's good to see a J-Man here tonight. And of course, Horror and Metal Maestro, Red Rusty 66. Looks like he's pumped to see freaking Dan the Man himself back again. And let's see, did I say I think that's Gory Tiger.
Oh yeah, Gory. Yeah, Gory.
Oh, yeah, that's a sick name right there. I like that.
Yeah, and we got 14 people in the chat, so thank you all so much for hanging out here and just to celebrate Filthy Dan's return. And before we officially get started, Filthy Dan, I believe you wanted to do a little plug-in for a little contest that actually pertained to tonight.
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to throw together a video over on my channel which elaborates more on this, and that's where you guys are going to go for the participation here. Essentially, yours truly, the Filth Master, I had pre-ordered Pearl on Amazon. Easy enough, right? But I went to Walmart and I also picked up a second copy thinking I could cancel the pre-order. You dumb bastard. So long story short, I now have 2 copies of Pearl, and I'm willing to be giving away the brand new copy still with the slipcase, plastic completely included. That's going to be the prize in this giveaway. But again, you're going to have to go over to the channel, subscribe once this video pops up. Don't subscribe just yet. I know that sounds like suicide, but wait for this video to pop up. It will be titled Pearl Giveaway or something to that effect. You're going to subscribe on that, probably turn on public, comment, and what I'll do is probably pull all the names of those who comment. If you're already subscribed, I'm sorry, this does not apply to you guys. But if you want a copy of Pearl, here's a way to get a free copy. And I'll get in touch with you after that.
And guys, Pearl at one point was selling for like $30 on like Blu-ray too. So you do not want to miss out on an opportunity like this that Filthy Dan is providing to you guys. So be sure after this stream is over, be a subscriber of Filthy Dan's at the Department of Fear, so you do not miss out on such a great opportunity, which I wish I would have done that instead of dropping that $30.
You can cash in. You can cash in and win big on one man's stupidity. It's not every day we get to do that.
No, absolutely not, man. And we got more people popped in. We got Jordan Talks Film saying, hey, just to pop in to say what's up, and gives both movies a 10 out of 10. So 2 freaking gold reels, or as we're going to dedicate it tonight, calling filthy reels. So yeah. So
Hey, that's 20 points,
awesome.
man. That's 20 points.
And of course, we got Queen Filth herself.
Yo.
Got Shannon in the chat. What's going on there, Shannon?
What's up,
Hello,
baby?
and welcome.
All right, so without further ado, are y'all ready to officially get started?
Let's rock it, dude.
Yeah.
All right, and just to let y'all. Oh, sorry, the last bit of business. We always got to thank our lovely Patreons. And Filthy Dan, we started a Patreon here, and we are calling our patrons Real Hunters. They are the backbone to our channel. So just wanted to give them a shout out and just say thank you so much for backing up our channel. And if you want to be a Real Hunter, our Patreon link is in the description down below. And just freaking join the Good Real Hunting family today. And what better time to do it than on Thanksgiving week?
That's not a bad idea, man.
Bert, I told you not to put. Anyways, we're going to avoid Bert right there. I'm not sure what he's doing right there. So let's see here. All right, we're good in the chat. So Brad will come back. I know he'll always come back. So let's go ahead and go with our tail of the tape here. Damn gummit filthy. Why are you spreading green everywhere?
I hacked the software, man. It's what I do.
Well, even I'll tell you this, Mia Goth on the left kind of looks like Nebula, or not Nebula, freaking Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy for some reason.
Oh my God, she does. And this is coming from somebody who does not watch the Marvel movies. Like, I can see that.
Which you should. But you know what? That's just for a different day. But however, Filthy Dan, this is our tail of the tape right here. So is there anything that just pops at you that just gives you like, oh, that's really interesting?
Yes, actually it is the budget for both of these films, both being $1 million. Essentially so far this is a $2 million franchise as far as what Ty West and crew have put into it. I find it absolutely amazing that with $1 million each, he was able to capture two distinct period pieces for only $1 million. That is not an easy feat, I don't believe, because you got to keep in mind you're also buying the camera equipment, recording equipment, all that fun stuff. You gotta feed your actors and crew. So to do that and still build sets that harken to a certain era, I think is absolutely amazing. Because $1 million, that is a super low budget for a film in today's age.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing I really got to point out there. And again, the release dates being so close together, that is something I still can't wrap my head around.
Yeah, I know, man. Like, and I kind of heard part of what you and Brad were talking about when it comes to that. Like, how often do we get something cool like that? And plus, we're going to get Maxine coming out next year too. Hopefully, that would be great if we could have them in March. If we could have Maxine in March of next year. Even though I don't think we will, just because that's already a stacked month. So hopefully, we get Maxine pretty quick too.
Yeah, I'd say trying to see a pattern here. It seems like there's a 6-month pattern. So 6 months from now, I think that would be about April or May, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Pearl came out in September, so October, November, December, January, February, March. So March of next year, but March is already stacked with like John Wick 4 and Scream 6. So I don't think it's going to do that.
Yeah, no, I'd say probably wait till April. Because like 6 months is obviously, when you're looking at two films, it is kind of hard to pick apart a release date pattern. But my money's on either it's going to come out in March or he might just wait till April just because there's going to be a little less competition at the box office.
I would be so down for April because that's my birthday month. So please do Maxine in April. So let's see here. We got more people. Danner Babenner saying, why is Gamora? That's a Marvel joke. And Rosie with one of the comments of the night. We're freaking using night vision goggles.
You know, I thought about turning off my white bulb just to capture that night vision aesthetic, but I find that that's kind of hard on viewers' eyes, and I'm trying to streamline my antics and what have you. So I figure don't do things that will repel people.
No,
And
yeah, absolutely do not do that. But yeah, you mentioned the budget. The one that really stands out at me is how close it is, like on the Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb ratings. Not a bad battle, like because like the audience seems to appreciate or like Pearl more, but the critics are on the side of X, and I do not blame it. Like even if the not like the ratings like flipped, like it's really
yeah,
that close to compare.
yeah, it's tough, and it is still pretty early. I mean, I don't know. Wow, I'm sorry, my dates are way off. So I don't know. I mean, you still do got to give it a little bit of time because X does have a bit of a 6 month jump on Pearl. So I could see these numbers on Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb changing over the next couple months and even the
Mhm.
next couple years. But yeah, I think it is interesting how there is that little bit of a flip flop on that.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too. I feel like with like another 3 months, especially with Pearl just coming out on Blu-ray, I do expect the rating numbers to take a spike because I don't see them going down, but I do see them going up for
Yeah,
Pearl. That is. Uh,
yeah, I'd
s-
have to agree on that.
okay, and is there anything else you want to address with the tale of the tape?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory that being that it isn't a consolidated universe, don't want people getting too confused on the typos there. That is not a typo, guys. Ty West and Mia Goth are attached to both projects.
Oh yeah, absolutely they are, and we will dive into it. And yes, just in case you are wondering why there's two of us instead of three, Brad had unfortunately duty calls, and we're just with me and Brad. We always agree when work and family come first over the channel. So Brad does send his apologies, especially to the Filthy one. So we'll be sure to schedule something in the future where we bring Filthy Dan back on so Brad can
Yes.
be there fully. But we will freaking rock it. So we're still prepared for that. And before we get into our first topic of the night, two things. Thing number one, the poll is in the chat because we are on here on the channel of how we're doing on Slash It Outs now. You decide who freaking wins Slash It Out. So be sure to get your vote on that poll, and we will address at the end of the show which movie will win. And the second thing is, if you've not seen either of these movies, we are going to go into spoiler territory.
Oh
So
yeah.
please be aware of that. And we do have a quick message from our boy Darth Stewie.
No, oh, hang on. Spoiler alert! Okay.
Thank you, Darth. He's always there when I need him. And then, of course, lastly, if you are watching after the fact, what did you all think about Pearl and X? Do you love these movies? Did you like one other than the other? Or do you, for some reason, not like any of these movies? If again, after the fact, leave us a comment down below and let's always get that discussion rolling. So without further ado, let's freaking start this Slash It Out. And Filthy One, I believe you wanted to do this topic, so let's go ahead and hit them strong here. And we're going to
All right.
go with Maxine versus Pearl. So, which Mia Goth performance did you enjoy the best?
So this one really, I think this is probably about the most interesting question on the whole thing because when you're looking at Maxine versus Pearl, that goes like 3 to 4 different ways. Because you look at it at face value, sure, she is Maxine in X, but she is also Pearl in X with a crap load of prosthetics on. So you have Mia Goth pulling a double role in that first film. And bear in mind, she is from England, so this southern drawl is not her natural accent. That is not how she normally talks. So she's pulling that off in 2 different ways. 3 if you count the X-rated nudie feature that they're making within the film. So she's really pulling more than her fair share of weight acting wise in X alone. And when you take a look at Pearl, the film, of course, she's playing the old lady in a much younger role.
Mm-hmm.
And she has to sort of rejuvenate that voice that she brought to this very old character in the first film. So what you're looking at here is a real masterful acting bit, but I gotta say, just with the amount of workload that she brings to X, I'm having to go with the Maxine role, so to speak.
Oh, you're gonna
Like,
go with Maxine? Okay.
like,
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think you were gonna go in that direction.
like, and I'm not saying just Maxine the character, but just really everything she did in the movie X, even Old Lady Pearl.
Oh,
If
even
I
yeah. Okay.
if I'm so inclined as to cheat there, I'm just giving this one wholeheartedly to X, just as far as Mia Goth's performance goes.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to pick, though, it would definitely be Pearl the character. If I had to pick one or the other,
Yeah,
but
and again, I'm just surprised by that. Just but you make a great point because Mia Goth has had more to do in X Men and Pearl. And I'm not talking about like a character thing. I'm talking about like an acting thing. Just because
yeah,
she has to play two separate characters, one in fully prosthetic makeup, which I'll let you
yep,
know. Guilty right here. I had no fucking idea that
dude,
was Mia Goth as Pearl until like after I got
same,
out of the theater and looked on Letterboxd because like
exactly.
that fucking blew me away. And then when I saw the video when they put on all the prosthetics, dude, give that freaking special effects person like a raise immediately.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd say that if this movie is at least not nominated in a few categories at the Academy Awards, which we know it probably won't,
Mm-mm.
and this probably will ring truer than ever, those awards are biased to classy pictures. But in the words of RJ, I'm paraphrasing here because I don't remember the exact quote, I don't think it was RJ. Anyway, one of the characters in X says, "We can make a good dirty movie." I can't remember if it was RJ or
Yeah, it was
William who
RJ
said
because
that.
he wanted to make a cinematic like masterpiece, even if it is porn.
Yeah,
Because
because
like in porn, you can still tell a story. Don't ask
oh
me
yeah,
why I have an opinion on that because whatever.
yeah.
But anyways,
Go to
uh,
my OnlyFans, guys. I have a whole audiobook on why pornos are the ultimate platform in storytelling.
oh my god. I will not include that filthy link on this page, so you'll just have to subscribe to Filthy Dan, and he'll give you the link on that. But just to retort, because I'm actually on the different opinion, I think Mia Goth's performance in Pearl is to me. I wouldn't say it's miles better, but I would say it's definitely better because she's playing one character and she's able to give her all to a certain character,
Yeah,
and it's her movie, so she doesn't have no help. So if she fails, the movie fails. And so she was putting a lot of pressure on her back, especially doing the prequel of X, where a lot of people were loving X and just say, "Oh, Pearl's coming out. I'm so excited. I have more expectations on this movie than they did with
right.
a lot of pressure on Mia Goth, but she absolutely nailed it out of the park. I thought she does a great job playing like this normal girl at first, but as the movie progresses, she goes into that descent of madness or the madness
Yes.
we all knew about slowly coming out. And we'll definitely
Hmm.
talk about that monologue later in the ending category because
Yeah.
and holy shit. But that's for me. I will go with Pearl as the Bear Mia Gotham performance.
So that is 1 for 1 on that.
Yeah, and again, we're letting the chat decide everything, but it's still a good like back and forth like for us to go at it
Oh
too.
yeah.
Just in case if we're going to persuade somebody in the chat, that's what we're doing pretty much.
There we go.
And I got some comments I want to throw out here. Brother Fluff saying, I can't tell you how awkward it was for X with or watching X with my oldest son, even if he is in his 20s. Dude, I wish My story was kind of like that. However, I was the only dude at my theater until the credits rolled, and then this like mid 20-year-old comes in and sits in the very back while I was in the very middle, and we were the only two guys watching the movie. Like, I'm not trying to up one you or anything like that, but I understand the feeling.
Yeah, I could only imagine because I didn't watch this one and honestly until after it came out. I think fuck, I probably bought this like I think I bought it sometime after I stopped uploading videos there for a while. Because I saw it at Walmart and I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard good things about this, and I didn't watch it for a while. I don't think it was till I want to say till like about a month and a half ago. I decided, hey, let's check this movie X out that you bought, and I became kind of obsessed with it. I've watched it at least like 12 times already. So,
Holy shit! Like I've only saw it 4 times. Like,
and you got to bear in mind this is in the course of like a month. I've watched it at least a year's worth of times.
damn. But hey, I love that we have like that movie did a lot for you, and that just really entertains you, and you really wanted to watch it. Like that's how movies live on like that. That's like I don't watch movies like on repeat a whole lot like that because I want to preserve them. But we definitely need the fans, kind of like how you said, that watches movies constantly like that
Yeah,
and always keeps the name alive. So I definitely understand both sides of the spectrum
and
on that one.
and I think part of it too is like it not only it again is like the RJ line where it's not just a dirty movie, like it's not just another run of the mill slasher. There's like a lot going on in this film. So I think that was part of it, like being just the nerdier viewer that I am. I was picking up something more out of it, and it's a lot of the thematic stuff that's under the surface that really just in a lot of ways makes this film tick on a whole other level. So I think that might have been part of the obsession there. And yeah, it's a film worth obsessing over. So
Oh, dude, I
I think
absolutely I agree with that. Like if you're gonna pick one, that is a great one to do that with. Dana Banner says, for me, X was a fun slash, but not as great as some made it out to be. Pearl I like quite more, being a fan of movies where the protagonist descends into madness. Yes, and we've almost kind of in a way, me and Brad have been doing that on the channel recently because we just got done with The Shining review, and that's to me the best performance of the descension of to madness with Jack Nicholson as Jack Torrance. So that's kind of weird. Great point, Dana Banner, to bring that up because Pearl definitely has a top 3 performance of when it comes to like the descension into madness because Mia Goth did a phenomenal job with that.
oh yeah, that she did, and I don't want to take anything away from her performance in Pearl, mind you, but I think there is just that there's sort of that recency bias, but I guess flipped backwards because otherwise I would have been going for Pearl on that. But to be fair, it was a hard decision picking her.
Oh, dude, this whole like episode, like this whole live stream of this slash chat is going to be a difficult decision because, again, I could easily understand both sides of like, if you want to pick X or if you want to pick Pearl. Like, I haven't looked at even at the poll yet, so I don't even know what's going on in the poll right now. I'm saving that towards the end just to see who wins, so I can just get that first live reaction to it, and then Rosie says, I love the 70s setting, which that is one of our topics we're going to get into because I absolutely agree. I love both settings to this movie. But we're about to get right into it here. Let's get with the next card. Here, let me get that comment out real quick. There we go. Story comparison, because both of these movies kind of told a different story. Like Pearl, again, we've talked about like the decision, the madness of how Pearl became Pearl. While for X, it was the story about the character Maxine on what she is willing to do to become a star and her beliefs behind it, because it kind of lead to a movement of like, I ain't going to take shit from no one and I'm going to do what I need to do to be a success. So Filthy Dan, I'll let you start about which movie to you kind of had like a more compelling story.
And this is another one of those hard ones. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I broke all these different categories up and just kind of made a little table here and just kind of checked off, hey, X gets this point, Pearl gets that point, and so on. This is one where I was not able to check a single box because both of the stories I think hit on a different level, and I'm trying to separate the story from performances, themes, and visuals, which is sometimes hard to do. But if we're looking at it strict from a narrative perspective, like if somebody was just telling you the synopsis or it was a campfire story that you're listening to, I would probably have to say Pearl. I think Pearl wins this one just because the idea of the descent into madness. Just something about that. And if just picture yourself sitting around a campfire and you're hearing both of these told to you as a campfire story. Which do you think is going to hit you in your soul the hardest? I think personally that the story of Pearl would. And I don't know, maybe the setting has something to do with that. Again, setting is something we're going to talk about sort of on its own. But yeah, I really think Pearl overall, just because it's again, I'm trying to keep the themes and whatnot out of it, but the story of her just starting to lose her mind because she has a goal that she has set for herself, and just everything in her life is saying, no, you can't have that. No, you want to be a dancer? No, that's not happening for you, young lady. And everything from like her sick father to her overbearing mother and the sister-in-law, which spoiler for later, all these things get in the way of her wanting to be this famous dancer in the movies. I don't know, and just the lengths that she's willing to go to try and achieve that, all while trying to, like, she's trying to balance it out, and she's trying a little too hard to balance it, and she just loses it. I think there's something a little more frightening about that than being chased down by two extremely old people. Because, I mean, if you're being chased by an 80-year-old man and woman, you could easily just push them down and be like, hey, I'm home free now. They got broken hips. But you are sort of your own folly, really, at the end of the day, in the descent to madness sort of story thread, because your mind is playing against you, really. I mean, on top of everybody else who's coming at you. I don't know. That was a whole lot to unpack, but short answer, Pearl. Pearl for
yeah,
story,
and
guys.
dude, and there is so much to unpack. And damn you, just when I thought I had my answer, there you are throwing your freaking knowledge out there. That's making me really just like starting to think, like, to question myself if my answer is actually the right answer. Again, it's all opinion based, but like I was going in like thinking it's going to be X, but damn it, you have a compelling argument of Pearl. Again, I understand both sides of the spectrum. Like, there's not a wrong answer because of how great both of these movies are, but I am going to disagree with you still, and I'm still going to go with X for a more kind of like comparing, like a compelling story. Because to me, I feel like Maxine's like character and her story on what she wants to do, like she knows who she wants to be, and she knows what she needs to do it, and nothing is going to stop her. That's kind of like the attitude that we have in today's world. Like, I know they had the setting in the 70s, so it doesn't really feel like kind of fit that, but that was the message they were kind of sending us to hear in 2020. And I think that is, to me, more moving than it is like for Pearl and her descent into madness. Great, like, again, great performance on that. But it's unfortunately, just for this particular scenario, I've already seen a lot of movies do that. Especially like, again, with Jack Torrance in The Shining being the most famous portrayal of them all, in my opinion. So that is why, for like a short answer on this one, I will go with X on this one.
I will throw a quick wrench into the gears there, just for argument's sake. Or throwing a spoon in the mix, if you will.
And before you do that, real quick, because I'm not sure how long he'll be in the chat, but there's Matt Fauci saying, "Welcome back, my filthy brother," and Brett, my dude.
Fucking Abe, good to see you, Matt. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. So I figure you wanted to see him real quick. So okay,
Fuck
continue
yeah.
on with your point.
So, if I can remember the point, I got
I know
overwhelmed
I
with
fucked that
excitement
up.
there, and I got overwhelmed with excitement. Oh yeah, so you argued that we've seen the Descent into Madness story a bunch of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have we not seen a young group of people get hunted down and murdered a bunch of times also?
Yeah, and
Throw-
and that's true, but like with my argument, I didn't
yeah,
even mention that just because you're absolutely right. We constantly seen that kind of
oh
story, but I feel like this story is more compelling because we actually
yeah,
have a rare character that we really enjoy. That's actually I feel like going to be remembered for a long period of time in the horror genre, sending a
yeah,
very strong message.
yeah. And on top of all that, too, she really does go against the. I will say Maxine as a character does go against the sort of status quo that we've come to expect from a final girl,
Mm-hmm.
where she's supposed to be the clean cut one. I mean, had this been
No, she
any run,
embraces the filth.
like had she, and that's why she's great. But had this been any other slasher in probably any other decade, Lorraine by Jenna Ortega would have been the final girl.
Yeah, and we haven't
But
even mentioned her beautifulness and
that
just her great role in X, which quickly Wednesday comes out tomorrow on Netflix with Jenna Ortega. I know everybody's excited for that, so just letting y'all know that is tomorrow on Netflix. Not a paid promotion, but yeah, as you were, sorry, like I'm getting excited for Wednesday.
but no, I do like how though X as a slasher, it does take some of these slashery tropes and it does turn it on its head, like not like Scream did, but in its own kind of way. Again,
Hmm.
the final girl who's got a really bad coke habit. I mean, it's like I'm sure we just got like the footnotes version of where she's at. We're probably going to see a lot more of that in the third film,
Oh God,
uh,
especially
which
in LA in the '80s.
like
Holy shit!
I do want at the end just to kind of walk into what we are expecting with that. So we'll try to save the Maxine film talk for later, like just
Hmm.
expectations and whatnot. Like
Yeah,
that's
and
just
we'll
kind of where
bring you
I'm
back on
on
for
that.
that one. Like, we're talking about doing a triple threat slash it out between
Ooh.
X, Pearl, and Maxine. We'll definitely bring you back on for that one.
Yeah, I mean it would only be right for the sake of continuity, right?
Hey, exactly, man. Like, we're talking about some filthy movies, and we got to get the filthy one on. So let me get these two comments. Red Rusty 66 says Pearl is a singular story while X has a multi storyline. You know what? Excellent freaking point there, Red Rusty.
That's that was I feel like that was my whole point just summed up into like an easy way for everyone to get it without being like, wait, what the hell did he just say? So thank you for backing me up there, Russ. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So yeah, again, excellent point. And then Twin City says, I gotta vote for Pearl, but I love X almost as much. Again, it's such a hard decision. So like don't be afraid, like if you want to vote for X, but you really like Pearl more, or if you vote for Pearl and you like X more. Like again, there's not a like whoever wins, it's gonna be, I bet you it's gonna be by a close margin. But again,
Oh
I
yeah.
haven't looked at the poll, so I don't know yet. So I will check on the after the show. And then also Twin City threw up that Jenna is my wife. I wish. Trust me, don't we all? But so let's see here. The next topic I have is production and direction comparison. Actually, is that the one? Yeah, here's what we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do Filthy Dan with like the setting because I know you really want to touch upon that with the setting and everything. So we'll
All right.
combine two into one with the setting and the production and direction comparison. So Filthy Dan, you are up.
All right. Yeah, and this is kind of a hard one to separate in a lot of ways. So we'll again just like Brett was saying, just try to condense it here. Um, as far as the visual direction, like just what Ty was wanting to accomplish, it's kind of hard to say because both films are still new, and I'll probably have a little more concrete answer for sort of what Ty West was looking for. So on that one, I'd say it's pretty split. I won't really
Mhm.
know the right answer on that my right answer until after Maxine comes out. But as far as like the production goes, again, you got to bear in mind, people, that both of these films had a budget of only $1 million, which is not a lot of money to make a movie today. I mean, that's like, I mean, you could probably make freaking, you'd be lucky if you could make Blair Witch for $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not actual money measurements, but you guys get the idea. But, you know, it's not an expensive movie at all to make for $1 million. So with that said, I got to say, as far as like the production value goes, I got to give this one to Pearl also, because a lot of these sets were sort of hand built, and I know the farmhouse they used in X, they actually refurnished for Pearl. So they took that house that was already pretty dilapidated, and then they reshined it and they painted it. And not only did they paint it with these bright, vibrant colors, but they picked out these certain colors that would kind of shine as if it were an old like 30s or 40s Technicolor film.
Damn right, great call.
Which is one of those things that I kind of took note to that before I watched the special features and kind of read the general consensus that everyone else had on that. And I was kind of like calling it as I'm watching it, like, this kind of has a Technicolor vibe. Did they do that on purpose? And something about the vibrancy in the color palette that we get in this film, and just the way the sets are put together, I think is really great. Just because we don't get a lot of films, I don't think, set in the 1910s that are films that are set to where a lot of people are willing to watch them. As far as I know, horror movies are something everybody watches, but I'm someone who watches almost consistently horror movies, so what do I know on that? But, you know, it's not something we get to see a whole lot. It's like that early 20th century sort of vibe in a film. So I'm kind of having to give this to Pearl as far as production design goes. And are we going to mention cinematography here, or do we have a...
Yeah, we could go ahead. Like, I know I had like particular cards, but you're our special guest, so if there's anything in particular you want to talk about, just throw it out there.
Yeah, I'm just going to drop cinematography also to Pearl. Like, most of the production stuff, I'm just going to say goes straight to Pearl. Like, just because, again, I don't know what it is about that Technicolor vibe. It's absolutely beautiful to look at. And a lot of these don't even feel like sets, which is the amazing part about it. Because, like, when you watch the special features, a lot of, like, the back alley scene where she's talking to the projectionist, that was a set. That wasn't a real building. Like, that was a freaking hardwood cardboard set. And that sucker came to life on the film. So just for that alone, it's like, wow. They really did pull the ultimate sort of illusion on us there. So I really do think a lot of the production and direction, I think, goes to Pearl. And that's not to take anything away from X. I think Ty West was the one saying that it's a lot harder to make it look dilapidated and old than it is to make it look brand new. But something about making it look brand new and look like it's out of an old, like, Gone with the Wind or colored Kansas scene from Wizard of Oz, you know, that's just one of those great things that they pulled off in here that was chef's kiss on it, you know?
Oh, dude, absolutely. And you brought up a great point, too. A lot of people compare Pearl to have a lot of Wizard of Oz tendencies when it comes to vibrant colors and all that. So I was happy you kind of brought that up, because the main color they used was red. And, you know, red is the color of death and all that. So I love how they threw all kinds of different shades of red in the movie and all that. Just to say, hey, there's not a lot of killing yet, but it's there. Just like pay attention to it.
Right.
So
it's conditioning us. It's warming us up. Like, hey, you thought X was a slow burn? Just wait. You guys are going to wait. You're going to forget it's a horror film, but we're going to condition you to be ready. And fuck, they did. Like, whatever psychology
they
trick
go the extra
used.
mile too.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot this was supposed to be a horror movie while I was watching it, because I'm like, I'm just digging the dramatic aspect of it. Like, wow, this poor girl. I hope she gets out of here. I hope she does find her road. But then you got to remember there's the husband, and then when you put two and two together, it's like, oh yeah, that's Howard over there in Europe. Yeah, her and the projectionist aren't going to get anything going. Although I did contemplate for like a minute though. What if Howard is the projectionist? But then it's like, no, Howard said that he was a war vet in X,
Right.
so that wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and that's just like like another added layer of character for Pearl, that she has like this tendency like she could cheat like on Howard just because of him being gone, and she kind of like throughout the movie she doesn't like feeling alone. And
Yeah.
so when kind of like when the projectionist like leaves her, like she does like a major freak out
Oh
about
yeah.
like, I didn't do anything wrong, why are you leaving me and all that. So but kind of like to go with your cinematography. Again, nothing taken away from X, because I thought X did a great job with cinematography and production design and everything. Definitely made you feel like 70s Texas, kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Even though those are kind of like a little, yeah, my man. But again, they were shot differently, so like you definitely got more of the Texas feel in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. While
Yeah.
in X, they had to go in a different direction. But Pearl definitely dominates the production, the setting, and cinematography. It really made you feel like you were in the 20s, like instantly,
Yeah.
like clothing design. Hell, they even did COVID. Like it wasn't COVID; it was like more
Yeah,
of a
the
disease.
Spanish flu that was coming back from depending on what sources you guys want to believe, we're not going to go into all that stuff, but
Yeah,
the
but
the
no, but
Spanish flu that was it was the backlash from the First World War that a lot of the guys were bringing back home, and it was the deadliest freaking thing in our modern time until recently. I think I think the Spanish flu still is deadlier though. Again,
yeah,
we're gonna try to not talk about that too much because that global bastard's done enough
yeah.
harm.
Oh, I know. I was just going to barely mention it just because, like, I
Yeah,
feel like they did it better than some of the other movie, like how we've done, like, kind of dealt with it in movies in today's time. So I just
yeah.
wanted to give a nod to that for handling it like
Oh
really
yeah,
good with all that with the mask and everything.
yeah. That
But yeah, so just want to throw that out there. I would say first landslide of the night goes to Pearl on this particular one. Again, don't take anything away from X. And another thing, it really just popped in my head. Remember the gifted pig that Pearl's family received at the beginning of the movie?
yes. I was thinking about this while watching it, and I think
We're
you're on
about to
the
go the
same
same
page.
direction, I
I
think.
think so. I'll let you go first just in case.
All right. Yeah, just in case, because that just pops in my mind. What excellent symbolism with that pig to Pearl. So, as
Yeah.
because she was like that pig, and at the end of the movie, that pig eventually rotted, just like Pearl's spirit rotted, and her descent into madness.
Hmm.
Yeah, high five.
Exactly. Dude, good stuff, Brett, man. Good
Yeah.
stuff on that, buddy.
Yes, sir. So,
Holy
like,
shit.
I thought that was excellent symbolism. So, all
Yeah.
that with that is going to go to Pearl, but Rosie wanted to say that the cinematography in X, especially the swampy lake sequences, were great. Yeah, absolutely. I will probably say if I'm going to give one thing to X, I would do the cinematography, like the camera shots. I would probably say that X did a better job than Pearl did, but when it comes to the main overall production, it's going to go to Pearl for me.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I that's one of those ones I could go back and forth on. It really would just depend on that some of the finer details in there. I think for me could depend on just my mood, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's exactly Russ.
Yeah, again, Rusty with another good like notice here saying like it's like the mix cinema scope and the Technicolor. It looks like it was filmed in the 40s. Yeah, very good point too. Just because you got to create that feel of the setting and all that. And again, both movies did a really good job at doing that.
Absolutely, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
Right.
I got, let's see here. I got the ending next, but I'm not ready to go to the ending because I know you wanted to talk about like the kills and score and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I say let's
And
go into that, like all those topics you brought up. So I'll let you take it away, my friend.
before we jump into like the kills and the tension and stuff like that, I do want to take a second to because you mentioned the pig, I feel like it now is probably as good a time as any to mention it and mentioning the similarities with the global bastard there.
Hmm.
Take a second to talk about themes because
Yes.
the sort of the thematic motif we get in X is that fear that we all have of growing old and losing your sexual filth, your filthometer. You know, your filthometer starts to fucking knock off, and you know your window of opportunity in life is sort of closing. That's what we get in X. While and that's from Pearl's perspective anyway. Maxine has the window open, and there's that juxtaposition there, as if they're crossing, like the letter X crosses. You know, like
Ooh.
just where they're both at in life crosses. I really like that. I just thought about that last part.
God,
But
dude, that's crazy.
in Pearl, it's just her window in life at that point. It's an open opportunity, but there's all these different layers of screens and stuff in her way. Again, her overbearing Mazza, uh, the invalid father, which is really just a shitty situation for anybody on all sides of that sort of situation.
Hmm.
Um, and like she's got this open opportunity, but there's also this isolation at the same time playing in with all that, and the anti-German sentiment that we had in the states at that time, World War I. It was on high, and if you guys noticed, Pearl's family are German, so it's like, hey, we need to just kind of mind our own freaking business right now. So they
Hmm.
are having to try and stay away from everyone. On top of that, there is a pandemic. So the isolation is building up, which is sort of allowing the lines between fantasy and reality to blur for Pearl. And again, that does tie in with the pig that Bert mentioned, and I love that he brought that up because I thought about that as like in the first shot we got with the maggots on it, like that's her psyche right there. Like this pig's not going anywhere. This thing's gonna be on the last shot of the film, and it's gonna be all rotted away.
Hmm.
And I called that like I don't know, probably around the halfway mark, I think. But yeah, no, just the juxtaposition of where Pearl's windows in life are between the two films. It's great. Again, just isolation, venturing helps venture into madness. Like
Hmm.
if you isolate and you go inside your own mind, like you're already physically isolated, and then you mentally isolate on top of it. There's almost no saving yourself at that point, and that's kind of again when I think when we were talking about the story, that was something that I kind of touched on a little bit. So go back to that and then jump back to here, and you'll probably get the full spiel going in sort of an X crossing paths. Anyway, esoteric hippie lingo aside, uh, is there anything you want to add to the thematic motifs, Brett?
No, dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. You've pretty much were spot on to it. Like I agree exactly with everything that you just said. I just glad just glad we were kind of like on the same brain length there with the pig thing because I think that's a perfect symbolism of like or
Yeah,
like the theme of the movie. And it's crazy too how both themes of the movie really play on to like real life today where
yeah,
like you could like there's some people that are willing to do what it takes to succeed and you can make your dream come true, but unfortunately there is that other side that you are not no matter how hard you try you're not going to get what you want, and how you handle that is kind of like the ultimate challenge. Obviously Pearl failed at that challenge,
yeah,
that's just like a very good like dark series. It's like a dark theme to tackle, but it's one
yeah,
that needed to be explored.
yeah. And it is interesting too how this is kind of what I think is going to happen. Like after I explain this, I'm just going to kind of point out where I think Maxine's going to go theme wise.
Okay.
The themes in X are absolutely universal. Again, that fear of growing old, not wanting to grow old, it's going to happen to a great deal of us. Ain't nothing we can do about it. I mean, there are, but I don't support that sort of decision. That aside, it's a universal fear that we deal with in Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
Or wow, fuck me. In X, it's a universal fear that we're faced with thematically. Whereas in Pearl, it's more of a personal sort of fear. Losing your own mind. That I think is probably one of the scariest things that a single person can do on their own. Is just lose control of their freaking mental state. And I think what Maxine as a film is going to do is probably go for more of a societal fear, like just something more to do, I think, with where society's at.
Yeah,
Again,
and like
how
judging you and all that, because I can,
yeah,
I like a good man. Like I can see going in that direction too as the next step. And kind of like it's kind of interesting to establish like those three themes, how all the kind of themes actually connect to each other.
yeah, and that's also what's going to be great about the follow up slash it out on this is we're going to look back at this and be like, oh, we were right about this, we were wrong about that. Like, wow, why did we say it that way? How did we not see it coming this way? But yeah, I do see here in the chat, Twin City and Rosalia are mentioning the music, which I guess we
Yeah.
might as well talk about that too, real fast, since that is technically a production aspect. I'll let you start off with that one, Brett, like the score versus the soundtrack.
Oh man, this will be my first tie of the night. Because first off, if you play Don't Fear the Reaper, you like pretty much that's like a me take off my panties and throw it right at you. If you're going to play Don't Fear the Reaper, any
Oh
horror
yeah.
movie, it enhances it. So I give that like for X, but for Pearl, really like does a great job like playing music that pertains to the 20s. And again, it
Yeah.
has kind of like that Wizard of Oz kind of like score effect to it that's really strong too. Again, if you got a score that puts you into the setting, that's a really strong score right there. And both movies do a phenomenal job at that. So that's my first tie of the night is between the scores.
Yeah, see, on that one, I did kind of have to split this in two. Like, as far as the score, like being the music that they made for the film, I kind of have to give that one to Pearl just because it is sort of this more upbeat for the most part, sort of uplifting, sort of cinematic score. Where in X, the score is a little more, it's a little more monotonous and akin to what we're used to in slasher films. But as far as soundtrack, like just songs that they selected from the respective eras, this is easily going to X because I mean, I have a broad taste in music, but I cannot sit and listen to old music from the 10s and 20s on a freaking loop. But Don't Fear the Reaper, that's in my driving playlist. When I drive to work, like before everyone in town is awake, like I drive to work at like 4 a.m. So that's like the perfect song to drive in the dark with. So naturally, I'm going to pick that. I'm a fuckboy for Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh, dude, and not just for this too. Like speak like on the cinematography kind of thing. I will say, out of the two movies, the best cinematography moment has to go to X when Pearl kills RJ and that blood hits that headlights and it's all red and she does the dancing and all that. Dude, that is such a disturbing but beautiful scene to watch.
Yeah, that one really is, and that just that whole scene, it's like super disturbing. And I don't know, because I feel like Pearl's advances, and this is where it's really conflicting, because you understand that as an old person, she just wants to be admired, because Howard can't really do anything with her, because my heart, I can't, my heart. Like, he can't. And, she goes to RJ, and probably like most of us younger guys would react, whoa, no, ma'am, because it's not right. but all she just wants is a little positive attention. She probably would have been okay with just a damn hug. Like, but I feel like her killing RJ in that scene, I think, made it kind of relieved some of the tension there. I think because it was like, all right, this is more of a comfort zone for me, watching RJ get pretty much decapitated by a series of stabs to the throat. With that whole kill is just vicious, and that might be the series winner so far for coolest kill on that. By the way,
yeah, I was actually about to ask you, like, since that's actually a good segue for the kill segment, which movie do you think had the best set of kills?
definitely X. I mean, some of them were interesting, like not what you would always expect, like with oh damn it, I forgot her name. But when the blonde girl, she gets pushed into the lake by Pearl, which that's
Bobby Lynn,
thank you. That's a
played
heavy
by
push
Brittany
from that.
Snow.
Yes, Brittany Snow. I remembered the actress name, but I couldn't remember the character. But when she gets pushed into the lake and the freaking alligator comes and bites her damn head off, that's like, what the fuck are we? Are we watching alligator or crawl? What's going on here? And then you got like a death like Howard's, which was a heart attack. Like, interesting. We haven't really seen that since Child's Play 3, but a classic no less. Sure.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
But yeah, no, I love that though. He's having a heart attack. I don't give a shit, lady. It's like, you go, girl.
yeah, so
been,
she had enough of their shit at that point.
and you guys know I always like the Janet Leigh bait and switch. So when they killed Jenna Ortega, spoiler, I guess.
Oh, it's okay. We did the spoiler thing at the beginning, so
yeah. For those who are just jumping in, there are mad spoilers throughout this whole freaking discussion. But yeah, Jenna Ortega's death though, that kind of surprised me because it's like, well, she's Jenna Ortega. She was in Scream 5, or are we still calling it Scream 22? Who knows?
regardless, anyway.
It's like the girl from Scream, she can't die. Oh wait, well, Drew Barrymore died in Scream 1, so you know, I guess you can kill Jenna Ortega in this. So just the way that one kind of catches you off guard, that was and the practical effects on that were absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, kills easily go to X. And there was they were interesting in Pearl, but I just feel like they were more rewarding in Pearl because you're waiting for them, but they were a lot more cinematic.
Damn it!
I felt.
I was about to touch on that, and there you go, freaking stealing it.
Sorry,
because that's what I was going to say. Because X had the better kills, but Pearl had the better build-up for each kill. I feel like the only build-up they did in X with the kill is the alligator one, because they kind of hinted it at the beginning of it when Maxine was taking that swim, but they used it later. That's the only one they actually did that with. But like Pearl, they've built each and every single kill with every like character that died. And I thought, so like, damn, when it comes to like the build up, it goes to Pearl, but when it comes to the actual killing, it goes to X, because unfortunately that's what marks down Pearl a little bit for me for being perfect, is because I was expecting more on the kills department, and it I wouldn't say it fell flat, but I was expecting more. But that's because if there's anybody to blame for that, that's X, because they did a lot of killing in it, and I kind of used that expectation with Pearl, and that's not a fair like expectation, because Pearl to me is a different movie than X.
Yeah, Pearl, like, I don't know, I feel like a psychological thriller is more a suitable sort of subcategory for it, as opposed to slasher. It's a psych thriller with slashing sequences. I'd say would probably be the best way to describe that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Before we go into ending, that's the last card I have. Is there anything else you wanted to touch base upon before we head to the nitty gritty with the ending? Because both of these movies, they had an ending.
Was the projectionist real?
Like the character?
Or like, was he a real character, or was he a
I would say
figment of Pearl's
absolutely he was a
imagination?
real character, or else that why would she shove the him in the car into the lake?
But what if she was a figment of his imagination? I think it was in the special features. Mia
Oh, see, I
Goth
haven't
brings
even
this
watched
up.
the special features yet, so
Yeah. See, I've fucking gone the whole nine with these films, but because he's the only character without a proper name of our main batch of characters. He is
that's
simply the
true.
projectionist. There's no one else around when she's encountering him. You could say he's the Lloyd to her Jack Torrance.
Ooh,
So
okay.
what if the projectionist wasn't even real? And Mia Goth, I don't think you're watching this, but if you are, thank you for the insight on that. You are
Pretty much
awesome.
thank you for everything. So
But yeah, no, that was one of those points that I've just been kind of, it haunts me at work. Like I'm just doing my job, trying to not put the wrong parts together, because building industrial air conditioners, you can't be screwing up where you're putting things. But while I'm doing that, I'm like, was the projectionist even a real person, or was he a figment of her imagination?
well, Rusty says that he was he was real in every aspect because he met her daddy. Because he did meet her dad.
That's a good point there.
So
That
Red
is a
Rusty
good
coming in
point,
busting your
Russ.
balls on that one.
That is a good one. He had my corner there at first, but it's like you can't
Filthy
always
dance
be
like
like.
thinking, damn you, Red Rusty. I was actually
But
saying something really badass here. You fucking ruined
but
it.
but yeah, no,
No,
that.
no.
But her dad is an invalid though,
Hmm.
so that could have easily been part of Pearl's delusion.
Shoot. I'm gonna have to watch it for a third time so I could try to put a mindset, because I never really thought about it until at least you introduced the idea of it. And with the special features, I need to watch that too. So the next time I watch it for a third time, I'm gonna pay more close attention to it.
And the last thing on that note, the name, the projectionist, she's projecting her need to escape
Fucking
on
A,
this blank canvas.
dude.
See, you see why I had to come on this. It's not just the smutty undertones of these films. There's just, you see why I've
There's so
already
much
seen X. Like,
unpacked in these movies.
you see now why I've watched X like a dozen times already. There's so much going on. It's like that these movies are kind of why I decided, I need to get my dumb butt back on YouTube here.
Oh, dude, definitely, because I freaking always call you unfortunately the most underrated YouTuber out there, where you should be already a great YouTuber out there, have a shit ton of subscribers. I always say that, even more than us too. Like I say, if anybody beats us, it's
Mhm.
Slaughter Lamb and you guys, or in just you. It pisses me off every time seeing your subscriber count, like where it's at. I'm like, damn, there's no fucking way with how brilliant his freaking mind is in the horror genre and movies. Because again, that just proves my point.
That's another thing too. I'm gonna try to not get all bitter about that this time around, because first of all, thank you for reaffirming on that. But yeah, no, that was another thing too. It was all the work that was going into the channel too. That was just slightly discouraging to not really be going anywhere.
Yeah,
But
and I understand that.
I figure, you know what? Let's come back and I'll be happy with the 200 people that watch.
Yeah, just
You
because
know?
they're real versus like bots and all that too. So
Oh yeah.
plus that's what all this is about at the end of the day. It's all about having fun. And just
Fucking
again,
A.
just you and I in the chat freaking just talking about two amazing movies. Like imagine, can we done this like 10 years ago? We didn't have the technology to kind of do that. So it's a blessing, man. It really is.
Yeah, it would have been on like if anything, like 360 by 180 freaking pixels
Oh, the
or something.
resolutions and all that. Holy
Oh
shit.
yeah. And it would have been like, oh, the broadband. Is somebody in your house using the phone? Nope.
Damn you, AOL.
Whatever fucking sound. There we go. That sounds a little more right. But anyway, this sentimental detour aside, we're going into the third act now.
Yep,
Unless-
that's what I was getting ready to go. Our
All
last
right.
category of the night is the ending because both of these movies have terrific endings. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on what you think had the better ending.
So this is another one that I kind of broke into two, and it's overall third act. I think goes to X just because as a slasher fan, at the end of the day, I really just have the favoritism towards slashers and that type of third act, where it's like, all right, we're gonna face down the villain. We've got the last girl. We're down to the final girl. She's gonna kick this villain's ass real fast. I think that just the way it all builds up so freaking quick in X easily gives this one the. Oh shit! No, I might be changing my mind though. Oh fuck! It's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, dude, it's tough.
I want to say X, but now that I'm thinking about it, Pearl is pretty great too because it just shows her accepting the madness. So I'm just gonna have to go X just because of the level of excitement.
Nah,
Um,
you slide dog. You.
But as far as like the thing to close out the movie, it's pretty great because in X you have the divine intervention.
Oh,
Like,
dude,
you have
it's not
that,
that,
and
and you also get the sheriff too going. This is one
Yeah,
fucked up horror picture,
yeah,
which that to
going into
me
all that.
is the greatest ending line to any horror movie of all
Yeah,
time.
and with the opening too, that it only works because of that opening. If it hadn't opened like after the fact, that line would have just been kind of, it's all right. But
Mhm.
to show them at the crime scene before, because otherwise it's like, oh yeah, the generic does nothing sheriff, but it already puts them in the back of your head. But as far as like the last shot, if you will, that we get, I gotta give this to Pearl just because that fucking smile, dude. That
Oh,
that was great, and it was nice to see Howard finally come back. It's like, Howard, I'm
just
glad you made it
was it
safely.
nice to see Howard come back because he saw a lot of fucked up shit.
Like, and that's what I like too. That with the ending of Pearl, they didn't really need to give sort of Howard's whole perspective as to how are we going to move on and live with this. I like that they just kind of left it at him coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to think for ourselves. Okay, how did they get from here to where they are in X? So I like that they kind of skip over that, and it's that I think that's a prequel done right for that.
Oh, dude,
Anyway,
hands down.
so ending. Would you say Pearl for the third act, or would you say X on third act?
Dude,
Like
I
separating ending.
Dude, I don't know because because X just goes into all complete slasher madness that every slasher fan wants to end their movie on, and they do such a phenomenal job. But here I am at the same time. Pearl just had just that different ending that we've never really seen before, especially Mia Goth doing one of the best performances in the horror genre I've seen since Toni Collette did in Hereditary. It's that freaking 9-minute monologue. Like,
Yeah.
like holy crap! Like just to pull off a 9-minute uninterrupted script however she did it. I don't even know how she freaking did it for 9 minutes. To me, it's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen. But dude, just the delivery of it, it's so cold and kind of like even I saw Red Rusty brought it up that Pearl would just leave you creeped out. Absolutely. That's what that monologue did. It's just that kill to her friend that got the part that she wanted. And that, again, that's kind of like, again, intertwining and explaining in X why she has a problem with blondes.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
And,
like her friend was blonde and that's why she went after Bobby Lynn and she has such a problem with Bobby Lynn?
And not only was that her friend, that was also Howard's sister.
Yeah,
So
I know.
That really kind of just shows the level that their love is willing to go to. Like, but yeah, that I kind of totally spaced that scene, but yeah, that kind of fucking brings everything back to a point where it's like, damn it,
Yeah, damn it. And then after that, and like you mentioned already, her smile at the end, that was all one take, and they told her just to smile until the credits were done. And you could just tell at one point she was in pain for
Mhm.
smiling for
Like,
that long because,
when you
like, again,
see
you gotta just keep it like this and
the
just
the
hold it
lips
there.
starting to curl, like,
Yeah, they'll
my
do and the
cheeks are
tear and
pink.
their tears coming upon. Like I don't know how she did it, man. Like it's super damn impressive. I hope for when I do a particular project next year, she wins actress of the year because damn dude, she fucking deserves it.
Well, she's got a pretty good chance. I mean, she's got 3 different damn performances that you can throw
Yeah,
into
you
the
can
hat on
easily
that.
pick.
But yeah, it's I don't know. As far as like ending in third act, it could go both ways. Again, this one is really mood based for me.
Mhm.
Like depending on what flavor I'm feeling. Like
Right. And
if I'm
so with that, I'm gonna go with my second tie because again, that's too hard because it pertains to my slasher needs with X, while also
Mhm.
provides me with the kind of like the psychological horror and aspect and all, and the actual acting to delivering a strong third act has to go with Pearl. So I'm going with a tie on that one. It's too tough to call.
The elevated horror. They
Good,
call
see,
it
good term.
elevated.
I know that's a lot of people's favorite term to throw
Um,
out there. So.
yeah, I only really know that from the new Scream film. Like, oh, elevated horror. Like, what
I
kind of
know.
movies is
The
that?
freaking line that just makes the whole horror community lose their damn minds.
I'm not gonna lie, those kind of movies are pretty cool. I like more than slashers. I love a good slasher. I will
Mhm.
live and die on the hill by the slashers. But I do like to check out some elevation shit. I mean, you can't be
Mhm.
on a hill without being elevated, so you know.
Yeah, like you just can't eat vanilla ice cream every freaking day. Like sometimes you just want to change up and want to go with chocolate or freaking cookies and cream. Like, and that's what
Throw
the
some,
horror genre gives you. It gives you a different flavor of ice cream.
throw some damn sprinkles up in the mix there.
Freaking
Um,
A, right in gummy worms. I know that's a random thing to put in ice cream, but trust me, it kind of works in a way.
I think I've seen that at like the TCBY or something. Like
It's
they have that
exactly where
option.
I got that from.
Oh,
Oh
I had
my
to think.
god.
I had to think deep on that one. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, though, which film are you more likely to go back to as a viewer?
Yeah. Before I answer that, I just want to quickly say if you have not voted in the poll, go ahead and do that right now. I want to assume that most of everybody did because after I answer Filthy Dan's question about that, we're going to do our overall thoughts on both movies and going to give it the good real scale. And then we're going to see who freaking won this bad boy. Because again, I still have yet to look at the poll, so I have no idea who's won. So, Filthy Dan, to answer your question, I'm going to go with X just because it's to me more entertaining. And I always go back to a more entertaining movie. And that's nothing against elevated horror or slow movies like Pearl because they are entertaining in their own way. But I'm kind of pulling a Matt Fauci card here and going with up tempo. Kind of like entertainment, like fast pace, and just you're always invested because there's a lot of moving parts and you have to pay attention to it. So
Yeah,
I'm going to say X for your question.
yeah. Not. I'm not even going to beat around the bush here on that one. I mean, I don't know how well y'all can see it, but if you look at the shelf, you could see that I put a lot of the slashers on the forefront. So
Mm-hmm.
that naturally, I would be going for something like X. I mean, slashers are a lot easier to just sit through and watch, and I don't know. Pearl, as much as I enjoyed that, that would be like the one I'd put on, like, say if I'm going to bed, but I want to catch a little bit of a story before I fall asleep. Maybe I'd put Pearl in there, but I mean I've done that with X too. So,
Well, so damn
but
filthy, Dan. If all you want to do is fall asleep, you got to just put it in Black Christmas 2019.
I still have not seen that one.
Please don't.
I,
That's
I,
all I got to say. Don't do it. It's a
I,
fucking dog shit from a horse's ass.
oh yeah, yeah. That's I haven't touched it with a 10-foot pole.
Oh, dude, which I love that rating name, by the way. That's badass.
I still don't have a whole rating system right now. As a quick aside,
Definitely include that one because that's the perfect way to describe the last one.
like what I'm doing right now, just as a quick aside, speaking of rating names, what I'm doing is just stealing Decker Shadow's sort of rating system. He's a bigger channel, sort of a bigger channel, I guess. Yeah, sub
Okay.
count and whatnot. But anyway, he does like the typical numbers, but for every number, it's an object or something relating to the film. Like
Okay.
if you look at my Elvis rating, it was X amount of blue suede shoes out of 5.
Oh, dude.
You
Oh,
know,
okay. So you kind of did like a podcast I listened to called the Pod Mortem Movie Podcast, and that's
yeah.
exactly how they do theirs. So, like on the scale of 1 to 10, freaking Pearl's beautiful shiny axe, I'm gonna give this movie blah blah blah. So, dude,
Okay,
that's actually a good, great, awesome idea on how to
yeah.
do a movie with
Like
rating like that.
I know right now I'm just gonna do that writing out through the John Carpenter series, which I aims to totally finish because that was like the last big undertaking I was starting before I fell off. But
Mhm.
that's yeah, something I'm just gonna rock with right now. But yeah, I guess get into the ratings. What have the people said real quick?
Well, I'm saving. I'm making the people wait, or
Uh,
mainly I'm making you wait. So let's do our overall thoughts, give it a
all
rating for both movies, and then after that we'll do the poll. Just say what's coming up on your channel, and then we'll give we'll send the people packing.
all right, good deal, good deal. So yeah, X of course it's a slasher, yes, but it's a slasher with a lot more going on. You could say there's a lot of subtext. That was hard to pun that one out, but yeah, no, there's a lot to unpack with X, as is the case with Pearl. Both are really great films that they're almost like a film fan's film for their certain uh, type of horror. Because with X, it's no secret now. I think we've all made the comparison. It's Texas Chainsaw meets Boogie Nights.
Of course,
Um,
absolutely.
Pearl is like I kind of got a Gone with the Wind, Wizard of Oz vibe off of it. Maybe a little bit of Jazz Singer. I've never seen the Jazz Singer from 1927. How do I know? But it's got that kind of vibe going on with it. But it's also a Ty West horror film at the same time, and I think time will tell just how recognizable his style is going to be. I think these are the second and third films of his that I've seen, with Cabin Fever 2 having been the first one, which I don't hear a lot of people mentioning as one of his films, which is kind of depressing. But no, I really do enjoy both of these films, and I don't want to give my full appraisal on them just yet until we get to Maxine, because I feel like after that comes out, I'll be able to give a healthier sort of analysis or proper reviewing of this as a trilogy.
Mhm.
But right now, what I can say is they are both great. As far as their connectability, as far as their um, sort of the continuity between the events and whatnot, I think it's mostly believable that these are the same character and the same goings on. A lot of that has to do with production value. Just the amount of love and care that goes into these films makes them more than worth appreciating.
Right.
Uh, I'm just going to keep gushing at this point. Brett, you take it away, sir.
Well, okay. And what would you do your rating scale out of 5 for both of
Oh,
them?
oh yes, that one. So, if we're, I forget exactly the system you guys use right now. So,
Oh,
if you don't
I'll
mind,
help you out here because what we'll do is when you say yours and I say mine, I'll average them out. So
oh, okay, good
because I already
deal.
know Brad feels the same,
So what I'll do is I'm just gonna cheat real fast, and if I may use the way I've been ranking or rating stuff.
And that's just fine with
Um,
me.
so X, I will give X 5 fucked up horror pictures out of 5. Um, as far as Pearl goes, it's really hard to say with as new as it is, but I'm probably gonna have to give it right now a solid. Uh,
Go with your gut.
4 comatose dads out of 5.
Oh, damn. 4 out of 5. Damn. I thought you were going to go at least like 4.5.
It was hard. It was hard.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Overall
You
thoughts
know,
for me. X is just
4.5. Sorry, 4.5.
yeah,
Thinking
my
about
man.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Again, that could change over time too. Like with more viewings,
Yeah.
it might go up more and all that. But with X and Pearl, great movies to as an excellent double feature as well. I want to throw out there too. And I know we did talk a lot about Ty West, but he has to get his freaking due. He did a phenomenal job, especially with the budget. Like to me, I feel like you challenge a director more with a budget size like $1 million. You get to really see who the damn good ones are. Mike Flanagan being another example. He's never really had much of a big budget before, with the exception of Dr. Sleep. And he
John
freaking knocks
Carpenter.
it out of the park too. So shout outs to that real quick. But X is such a fun and extraordinary time. And it just came out of left field, kind of like how Ready or Not did in 2019, how it just came out of left field and everybody loves that movie. But X is just so damn entertaining. It's funny at times, it's gory at times. It just all the check marks you can possibly want in a horror film or a fucked up horror picture. So for X, to me, it is a golden reel, a 5 out of 5. Pearl is a great character study movie with the decision, the madness, and all that. Great, beautiful colors, great cinematography, very good kills once they get to killing. But again, I feel like that just sets it back a little bit. We didn't get as much as the killing, but again, that's not this type of movie. But it still did kind of set my expectation. I heard it a little bit after the fact, so that is why for Pearl, I'm going to give it a 4.75 out of 5. So with all that, for you and I will play this clip first. X is going to get the golden reel.
I love gold. The look of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, the texture.
Yep. So that is for X, and then for Pearl, it's going to be a prime time, bitch.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big breaking TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
That sounds
And
about
it's
right.
well deserved for both movies. And even I can say, like, Days 2, Pearl can easily be a golden reel too. But just at this time, it's just that's what it is for me.
Yeah. See, if you weren't comparing them to each other, I think on its own, Pearl gets a higher rating.
Oh, I would probably do a golden reel if it's by itself.
But looking at them side by side, because it's one of those ways I'll rate movies. If I'm comparing them to a peer film, if as it were, it will greatly affect it. But if I look at it on its own, that rating can change.
Mm-hmm.
But as a story-oriented film, Pearl can easily be, like you said, a golden reel, a 5 out of 5.
Oh, dude, absolutely, I agree with that, and that's a great point. If it is by itself, it's easily a 5 out of 5. But with that small attachment to X, or not a small attachment, but like just since it is connected to X, you have to include what X did with Pearl, and that unfortunately just barely didn't live up to it. Just barely, but it still was phenomenal. That's why I do the grading. But man, Filthy Dan, great episode we did here with X and Pearl. Like I said, once Maxine comes out and all that, and we'll freaking do a slash it out triple threat, and we'll bring you back on for that one, and we'll freaking just have fun with that. And I just again want to thank you for your time for coming on, and just trusting me and Brad, or just me today, but we'll get Brad back on. We'll all hang out. I had to do something real fun. But so Filthy Dan, anything coming up on your channel, like a feature potential live stream or certain videos that you're going to drop, or what do you have coming up on the Department of Fear?
So over at the Department of Fear right now, live programming.
Oh, sorry. Kind of... I'm gonna have to do a pause real quick because I forgot the most important thing of the show.
The poll.
Who won?
You decide.
You want to know who won? Do a little drum roll, please.
I don't want to knock my laptop down.
You're not gonna fucking believe this. You ready for this, dude?
Yeah.
Okay. Out. I gotta take a picture of this too because Brad's not gonna believe me either. All right, got that picture. Out of 18 votes, Filthy Dan. It's a tie.
No, sir.
It's a fucking
Like,
tie. So we don't
see,
know who won.
I was expecting a fucking landslide when you said you won't believe it. Like, oh, shit.
No, dude, that's what I thought too. But when I saw it, but it's a tie, man. So freaking 9-9.
God.
So we're gonna
Wow.
we're gonna have to do a rare rematch and try to determine the winner in the future.
Yeah, well, that's why the freaking third part is going to come up. Maxine is going to
Freaking be that
sort of
difference maker.
It's going to redistribute the balance in the scales there. But
So yeah, sorry about that.
Oh,
so
no,
those
no,
are your
you are
results
good.
there. It is a tie, so we're gonna have to revisit this match later in a triple threat with Maxine. So now, Filthy Dan, I apologize again. What is coming up on the channel?
So you guys have probably heard me telling you for quite a while now that this is coming out. But finally, with great patience, the weight of this specter is being lifted off my shoulder. The American Mary review is going to be coming out within the next week. I still need to record that.
Nice.
My thoughts are together on it. This was part of my failed Patreon experiment. I do plan to get back into that after a while, by the way. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. That's a whole video in itself right there. But yeah, the American Mary review, which was a Patreon request for Horrorhead Heather, that is going to be coming out before too long. Finally, the thoughts are together on that, and yeah, it's going to be there's going to be a little kick in the ass in there too. There will be some self-deprecating humor to start that one off. Is kind of what I'm looking forward to. The continuation of the John Carpenter review series with The Fog. Yes. Well said, Chris.
Chris, you son of a
man.
bitch.
That's true, but yes.
And
The Fog.
Chris wasn't in this stream, Dan. He told me beforehand he hasn't seen Pearl, so he wanted to see Pearl before watching this stream.
That totally makes sense. Yeah, he's got enough time to have gotten that done. But yeah, no, fuck, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, The Fog. The Fog review is going to be coming out also. The John Carpenter series, as you guys know, is going to be me going through his films. I've already done up to the Elvis biopic, going all the way down to The Ward. So you guys are going to get every film directed by John Carpenter, even the Masters of Horror episodes. So you're not going to want to miss out on those. Carpenter is the GOAT. Ty West, I know we were blowing you big time on this video, but Carpenter's still the king, buddy. I'm sorry.
And you know what? I'm pretty sure Todd West would be like, I totally understand that. So I'll let it slide. And Maxine, I'll show you.
Do you think he would blow back?
Mr. West, if you're for some reason watching this, I apologize for my filthy friend over here. But no, I'm kidding.
Loved you in your next, Ty.
Oh yeah. Well, he didn't. He had a busting headache in Your Next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but even though I love that scene every time, but
yeah.
So was that it, Filthy Dan, for what's coming up?
As far as like all the stuff, I don't know. I'm thinking I might have to go and do a review for X and Pearl, but I might just wait for the build up to Maxine with that, honestly.
Good
just
call.
Because it would make more sense to cash in or hash in on the hype there, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to do. I've got I've got the better part of a year and a half of freaking catch up to be playing on the channel. Because I missed out on the last two freaking Halloweens as far as reviews go. And there's just a whole lot. of really bad, inexcusable gaps on the channel. So a lot of that's going to be rectified. This is the redemption season of Filthy
Yeah, the
Dan.
road to redemption, man. Hell yeah, dude.
But yeah, the return redemption tour, whatever y'all want to call it. But yeah, what do you guys got coming on over here? That's what I want to know.
I'm gonna just do a thing now where I'm not gonna like like how I do the thumbnails of what's coming up. I kind of had like the scroll at the bottom saying everything that's coming up, good real hunting wise. But I know we were doing the show, so I'll tell you, Filthy Dan, real quick. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I will be on Matt Fauci's channel, Fauci Cinema, as we do a series together called Watch Until You Drop. It's our watch party series, and we're going to be doing Scary Movie 2. You know, since with Thanksgiving, and we need to reteach ourselves on how to base a turkey. And the Mr. Caretaker is going to teach us how to do that tomorrow.
Yeah,
so if you don't know how to base your turkey, we highly strongly you get out your Scary Movie 2 DVDs and Blu-rays and join on the fun on that. That's tomorrow at 8:00. And then me and Brad will take a small hiatus on Thanksgiving weekend. We are possibly going to do some skits since he'll be in town. So hopefully we get that rearranged so we could bring a new fun skit towards your way. And then we'll be doing some Slash It Outs. We're doing a new concept of a video called The Real Story, which is pretty much telling you the real story behind the movie. So for example, the one we're going to do is The Conjuring. So we're going to tell you the real story about The Conjuring versus what the movie told you. So we're going to give you the facts of what actually happened with The Conjuring. And we got other fun videos that we are planning to do. So that is what's, as of right now, coming up on Good Real Hunting.
I like that. The real story, that's the one I'm really excited for.
Yeah, Brad came up with that, so I was really excited for that. So, and just for you too, we've been doing these live reaction or live interact reviews. That's kind of a new thing we're experimenting with, where we are letting the fans decide a movie rating, kind of like how they decided Slash It Out tonight. And our next one, I'm not sure when just yet, but it's going to be one of my personal favorites. And Ty West is in it, and you just mentioned it. You're next.
Hey.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to do that live interaction review. And yeah, Gory Tiger saying the real story. Can't wait for that. I cannot wait either. And so Brad cannot wait either.
I might have to throw some ideas for that at you guys, because there's a couple that
I already know you want to throw the Amy and Phil Horror House, and you can definitely guarantee that's going to be one of them.
That's not the main one, but I'll let you know after the show, just because it's I want to catch these beautiful bastards off guard.
Oh man, dude, he always freaking does, man. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We are past like the hour and a half mark. So Filthy Dan, once again, I just want to say we're all glad. If I can speak for everybody, if I'm allowed to, we're so happy to have you back. Like we freaking miss you, man. But we totally understand why you had to go, but we're just glad that you're back. We're hopefully you're here to stay for a long, long term. And if there's anything you need from the Good Real Hunting family, you just let us know, buddy.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you. And this was again a great way to be welcomed back in a sort of
just to trust us again. It means a lot to us for you to trust us to welcome you back in a big way.
Yeah, it feels good, and I can't thank you guys enough for bringing me on for this, because this was I don't know. I feel like X is a movie I should have made, so I feel like Ty West owes me one on this.
Yeah, damn you, Ty West. You just stole Filthy Dan's notebook.
If you think about it, though, tell me not. X would be like the movie if I made a slasher.
Dude, absolutely it is. Like, dude, I'm never going to look at this movie ever the same again.
But yeah, with that aside, thank you again, Brett. Thank you guys for coming in, and I look forward to seeing all your beautiful faces over.
And even the new beautiful faces that you got to be introduced to tonight, too. Because we have some new people that you have never seen before.
Twin City is one I do not know. Gory Tiger, I'm semi-familiar with. I think Gory Tiger's been over at my channel. I'm not 100% sure. It's been so damn long.
Yeah,
But-
they like Twin City, Gory Tiger. You saw Rosie, you saw Lamontre, you saw Atana, just everybody. Like I know there's too many to name, but they've all have been
Yeah.
amazing supporters on this channel, and I know now they're going to be amazing supporters for your channel as well.
Oh yeah, and I
So-
can't thank you guys all enough for that. Oh yeah, there's also that fucking Psychotic Pearl giveaway going on too.
Oh
Almost
yeah,
forgot
buddy.
to mention that.
Yeah, so better subscribe up to Filthy Dan, my friends. And so we're going to go ahead and leave it at that. It is Thanksgiving week, so I want to say happy Thanksgiving. Just stay safe, be with your families, because I know there's a lot of darkness in this world, but there's a lot to be thankful for. And just use that day not only to rest and stuff yourself until you're sick, but also just remember there are a lot of things to be thankful for. And we are thankful for you just taking time out of your busy schedules just to watch us goofs talk gush over X and Pearl. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So guys, we will see you next time, and thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yo.